Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. Hitchhiking Yeti here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I am in an area, a historical area here in Winston-Salem known as Old Salem. And I'm going to show you a little placard right over here. And once we do that, I'm going to take you out to Kernersville, which is kind of a suburb community of Winston-Salem. And there is a house there that is kind of known as the world's strangest house. I think this house has more than 10 fireplaces in it, and none of them looks the same. All of them are different. There's no two windows in that home that are the same size, including doors. There's no two matching doors. It is bizarre. It is like certain rooms, the ceiling is less than 5 feet or about 5 feet. There's rooms that's got 20 feet ceilings. I mean, it's all over the place, and we're going to go buy a ticket. You can actually tour through the house. And since this is the month of October, I thought it would be a fun time to go check his house out because that's right, this is the Halloween month, and this place is known to be a little bit haunted. So we're going to go over there, learn a little bit about the history of that home, and definitely take a tour through it. Should be fun. So if you ever come to Old Salem, do not forget right here in this park, they have this plaque right here on the ground. And this is commemorating the first official 4th of July celebration in the United States at Salem, North Carolina, 1783. This plaque unveiled in the 200th anniversary year of Winston-Salem, July 4th, 1966. So that is pretty awesome. So this right here is the first place where we as a country celebrated our Independence Day, 4th of July, right here in Old Salem. That is pretty cool. I did not know that. I love finding little factoids like that to kind of sprinkle into my videos from time to time. So now that we've seen that cool little bit of history, let's get on the road and drive out to the world's strangest home, house, whatever you want to call it. All right, and here we are. We made it to Kernersville, and right here is the Korner's Folly home, which, you know, some people call it Korner's Folly, but really and truthfully, the way the name is spelled, Korner, is actually with the German little 2 dots on the O. So I think it would really be called Kerner's Folly home. So we're going to learn real quick a little bit about the history of this home, why it was built. And, you know, why is it so strange? Why is everything so different throughout the home? The windows, the chimneys, the doors, everything is a different size pretty much. So I don't think there's two matching of anything in this home. In 1878, there was a man by the name of Jules Kilmer Kerner who began construction on this house. And his whole plan is he was going to build this house, make sure every door, window was a different kind of design. All the fireplaces, the ceiling heights of the home was going to be different in every room just about. And he did that because he wanted to bring people here to showcase his talents and kind of what he could build and what he could do. And then they could pick out what design they wanted when they would have their house built. So it was kind of like a catalog. A living catalog. He was living in this home, you know. So I thought that was really very interesting. There is no two doorways or windows exactly alike. There are 15 different fireplaces, and ceiling heights range from 5.5 feet to 25 feet. They also have pivoting windows in some very strange places, because I did see that and read about that online a little bit. Like interior parts of the home will have windows that pivot, that spin around, you know, that you could open. So that's pretty interesting. And also I do know that the bottom part, the ground level, at one time was a place where they parked their carriages. And I think it was in what's now the front door, the front entryway. And I think we had noticed that. I'll make note of that when we come in. There's also some trap doors in the house that would kind of open up. You could go through the maybe the flooring and things like that. So a lot of little nooks and crannies in this place. We're going to take our time today as we walk through, take in a little bit of the history and the craftsmanship of this home, and just probably feel like Gulliver's Travel at some point in time, or Alice in Wonderland. Anytime we get into a really small, tight spot, you know, probably don't want to kind of think back, oh, this is kind of like Gulliver's Travel or something. So let's go ahead and go up here, buy our ticket, and do a little walkthrough. Self-guided tour. Should be a lot of fun. All right, I'm making my way around to the front for the entrance. I'll check out on these steps right here. That's really cool. 1880. That is the year he completed the house. He started in 1878, so it took him about 2 years to finish construction. And then right here we have this little makeshift chimney. It's got a little pot right there, and it says Witch's Corner. And there's actually some coins in there, so maybe you put that in for good luck to keep the witches away. I don't know. I totally just donated a penny to the Kerner's Folly home because, you know, there is supposedly some spirits here. We want to make sure we are on good terms with spirits. We do not want anything to follow us home today. So they have a little plaque out front here. It says Kerner's Folly, 1878 to 1880. This is actually when they built the home. So that's kind of cool. And then right here is the entranceway into the home, as we're being welcomed in. So we're going to learn a little bit about the history and move inside.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Been to Kerner's Folly before? Well, welcome. You
Thank
are
you.
in for quite a treat. So you're standing in the home of Joel Kerner. That's a self-portrait that he did in his early 20s. He was a very talented artist.
So this is so cool looking, just to look at the ceilings and look at the arch that she was talking about, how this right here is where the carriage used to come in. Look at that. That is so awesome looking. So this room here is the dining room, and as I say right here below, it says please move straight ahead to enter the breakfast room. Just take a little stroll right through this walkway. Ooh, that's some creaky stuff. And right here they have their breakfast area. Man, look at that pie right there. Got some deviled eggs. Right over there, some bacon and eggs. All right, here we are in the main kitchen area. They did all their cooking. There's your sink. And right here they have their little stove. What do we got here? This room, this here is the summer kitchen. They have some of their fruits and apples and things like that. There's where they kept some eggs, and that's cool because that's back in the day, you know, when you didn't have refrigerated eggs. You know, because if you ever was around a farm, like my grandma back in, you know, the 70s and 80s and stuff, when she would have eggs, you know, she just took them to the house and they just set them out, you know, because they didn't clean all the outside coating off of the egg. You know, like they do today. They clean it today, and then they put that like white coloring all over it and stuff, and then you got to keep it refrigerated to keep them good for days and days and days. But back in those times, you didn't have to do that. It's just when you wanted your eggs, right before you was doing whatever you was doing with them, then you wash them down and then crack them. But back in these days, they didn't have the refrigeration, didn't really need them because they didn't clean off all the stuff on the outside of the egg after the chicken laid the egg. All right, so now we're going to head down to the furnace room. And check out the archway on this door. And this is weird because you have steps here, and then look at this small door off to the left right here. How bizarre is that? Okay, as we leave the furnace area, we got some steps going leading up. And look up at the ceiling. Look, there's some of those pivot windows. How weird is that? It's up above us. Looks like there's maybe a bedroom up there or something. And it's got a pivot window, and then you got some steps right here. And then this little small door. Look at my hand. Look at that. How narrow that is, or very narrow. I have to turn sideways. I mean, look how tight this is. I can just barely fit my head in here, and then if I turn sideways, look at my shoulders now. I am a kind of a broad fella, but you can see they're actually rubbing both sides, just kind of Vaseline me on through there. So if you want to know what this little skinny door actually led to, this here was the smoking room. And he actually worked for Bull Durham Smoking Tobacco Company, but Mr. Jewell did not smoke himself, but this is the only room he'll allow people to actually smoke in. All right, and as we leave the smoking room, this here is the north entrance and staircase. And check out, this here is another fireplace. And just look at the artwork in the fireplace. You see it? It's a lion who's chiseled into the rockwork there. That is freaking awesome. That's so cool. Now we're going to carefully ascend up these 2 steps right here, as the sign says, and enter the master bedroom. All right, and this here is the master bedroom. Very, very awesome. My wife was just reading this signage over here, and it just tells you that this room right here is really neat for several reasons. It has some trap doors in it that allows you down in the ventilation system beneath the house. So I noticed there is like a square right here in the floor, and there's another one right over here at this like doorway or entrance. I don't know if this was, yeah, this was definitely a door. I see the door right there, but here's another square. So maybe both of these are trap doors, or maybe just one of them. It don't really tell you. But another cool thing is about this fireplace right here. Notice how this decoration is right here. This here actually hides the chimney, or the flue is like going up through here, and it kind of hides it, so you don't even really realize it that it's there. So he did a fantastic job at hiding that. You know, when you just walk into the room and look at it, you wouldn't even really pay attention to it. You just notice it did have a very beautiful fireplace. So really cool. All right, as you leave the master bedroom, you come into this dressing room, and this is really cool. Just notice this red velvet dressing case right here. And he actually bought that, Jewel actually bought that at the French Pavilion at the 1884 World's Fair and gifted it to his wife, Folly. That is pretty awesome. All right, let's head up these steps next. See what the next thing we're going to see. Look at these steps. These things are like really, really steep, by the way. All right, so as we walk up these steps right here, I want to show you something. I'm going to stop right here on not quite the top step. We got one more step. This right here is the top step. And I want to show you, this is the kids' room. This is where they come to play. I'm about 5'11", and I'm still bent knees. That's the ceiling. This is totally a Gulliver's Travel type of a moment, for sure. Alice in Wonderland, what have you. But anyway, this is a very, very tight squeeze, for sure. And oh man, check this out. This here is those pivoting windows that we seen down below us when we was looking up. So they had pivoting windows for the kids' room. Look at that, man. That's all the way down to the steps. Who cares about child safety back in the 1800s? They'll be okay. They fall and get hurt. They'll be all right. They'll make it. This room here is not quite as bad. They did have a fireplace in here. Oh man, check out this window. This window is actually lower than the walk-in space here, the flooring. That is wild. Man, he went all out in this house. And out here and go up these, oh man, I like that railing right there. That looks really, really nice, man. It feels really good. Head up these steps here. Look at the decorative all the way up through there. To say this house is strange is a bit of an understatement. I mean, just look all the craftsmanship and the work. This right here is Rose Room. And it had like a flip up window looking thing right there, a pane that flipped. That is wild. They say this place is somewhat haunted. But that doll right there has got a very haunting gaze look in its eyes. All right, this room right here is known as the Blue Room. As you can see, the blue painting on the wall. But this here, when Jewel lived here and he was a bachelor, this was his bedroom. And this little doorway right here was actually a doorway to his studio. at the time when he was a bachelor and living here. So kind of fun little fact there. And of course, just like most rooms we've seen today, there is a fireplace. No shortage of ways to stay warm. All right, this next room here is got some really cool history to it. A lot of the stuff in here are all original. This home has been restored quite a few times, and originally this room was his studio. And so all the furniture that we're looking at here, he actually designed this furniture specifically for this room. I mean, check that out. That is some wild looking furniture going on. And you know, we seen that door a few minutes ago in the blue room, which was actually his pathway into this room. And maybe it was actually right here next to this fireplace, but now it's actually an air conditioning unit. But maybe this doorway right here was actually that pathway. That makes sense because it was up against the wall. So this is the way he would actually walk into his very large studio, because this is a huge room and the ceiling is huge. It is very tall. The ceiling in here is probably, I don't know, 12, maybe close to 15 feet. But look at that. That is wild. That's so cool looking. All right, now we're leaving the reception room. We're heading up another flight of steps. Very, very beautiful. Oh, this is awesome looking up here. So right here is the steps that we just walked up. And I love the railing, man. It is so beautiful. But this area right here is called the Cupid's Park Theater. And this is in the very top of the home. Look at this. That is freaking awesome. I mean, right here's the stage. They have their plays. How cool is this? And the reason they call it Cupid's Park is because he painted Cupids all on these pictures. Right here, here's some more. That is so awesome. So when you're outside looking at the home, look up toward the top of the eave, and when you see this little Triforce triangular window, Triforce has a little Legend of Zelda thing, but anyway, this has nothing to do with Zelda, but I don't know why that come out like that, but you know, I'm a gamer. But yeah, that there's what you're looking at. That is actually the room that's connected to that window is the theater. Right there you see some more Cupids. Yeah, we all need a little bit more love in our life. I have no problem with the Cupids. All right, let's head in this direction and see where this is going to go. We got to walk up on the stage now and walk down some more stairs, it looks like. So real quickly, once I made it up here on the stage itself, you notice you have this little curtain right here. This is where they do some like puppet shows and stuff like that in the past. So I don't know if they still do that or not, but I did read online they have had puppet shows up here, and you can come up here and kind of watch them. So I don't know if that's just at Christmas or when it is, but they do have puppet shows up here from time to time. This here might be the longest flight of steps I've seen yet in the house. Look at that. Wow. It's probably not the longest. All the steps we've climbed up to this point have been winding. These steps here are just straight down to that floor. All right, so we made it down this long flight of steps into this next room. This room here is known as the long room. And as you can see, it is very long. But this right here was the backstage area for the Cupid's Park Theater, which is just right above us up these flight of steps. But back in the day, this right here was the original, this here was the hayloft, because this would have been on the side of the home where you had some of the animals and things like this. So this here's where they used to keep all the hay back in the day prior to him getting married, because you know his wife didn't want the animals and everything connected inside the house. So he had to make some changes. So this was actually, he made a good change. This right here was kind of the pre-stage stuff. This is where everybody kind of dressed up and got ready to go up there and perform. All right, so now as we leave the long room, you look off to the right. Check that out. Is that not a weird design? Look at these steps over here. Looks kind of another tight squeeze for me. So we make our way down and around. Definitely think I need to watch my head, because you could definitely hit your head on that. for sure, just for giggles. Once again, yes, I have to totally duck because look, I could actually like fall asleep right there. Yeah, but I'm not. All right, let's duck way down. Way down. I hear a kiddo. I'm gonna sneak in right here. Check this out. They got some dresses right over here. And this right here is the south guest room and bathing room. The very creaky floor. This would have been right below the hayloft or the long room. There's the bathtub. Some of their clothing maybe they would like to wear back in the day. All right, so as we exit this bathroom area right here, there's one more thing I want to show you before we leave this south guest room is this window right here, or doorway. As you can see this flat area out here, the roof. The women back in that time used to use this as a place to go sunbathing. They could actually sit out here and get some rays and you know, work on their tan a little bit. That is a fun fact indeed. I didn't just make it up. I totally read that off of these little signs right here. They give you some pretty good information as you walk through the house. All right, now we're going to take a right, go down these steps back down to the first floor. But look at this little cubby right here. Check that out. Right there he is. We seen him when we first come in. Right there he is, Mr. Joel Kerner. And that is the entrance that we came in also. That door right there is where we come in, but don't really know why he put that little square opening. Don't really know. Remember, this side of the house was a hay loft and like for animals, so maybe that had something to do with that. So let's go ahead and walk down and finish this tour up. All right, so we just made it down those steps. We're here kind of at the end of our tour. And this right here is known as the den. And as you know, this was part of the stables at one time. This was actually called the tacking room. And then later on, when they changed it all, it was a den, a sewing room. That's why they have her sewing stuff in here. There's a picture of her. Pretty neat. And of course, another fireplace. Fireplaces are everywhere in this home. And this right here might be, I guess, the library maybe? Another fireplace. Yeah, right here, library. Pretty cool. So according to this, these are original. These bookcases that we see right here with the doors on them, he built, this is like all original stuff here. So that is really awesome. I mean, this is really old. That is pretty freaking cool. I kind of geek out when it comes to like old historic things like that. That's like still taken care of and in great use. And it's hard to believe that this property, I think back in 1970, was going to be actually torn down. But some of the families here in the area, in the Kernersville area, actually got together and purchased a home and saved it. So I'm glad they did. This is a wild home to come visit. All right, my friends, we made it back outside. I'm right here at the Witch's Corner, and I wanted to kind of give you an update. I kind of read some information on the inside, what Witch's Corner actually is, and this dates back to the European days. And like several centuries ago, this is what people would do. They would have a Witch's Corner outside the house, and when you would put your change into the pot, it makes a sound, right? And this here would attract the spirits or witches and things like that. And then while they're attracted to that sound, it would allow you to have safe passage into the home without bringing spirits with you. Fun little fact I just wanted to share with you. I thought that was kind of interesting. I really didn't know what the heck a Witch's Corner was, and I'm glad they tell you, but they tell you at the very end of the house tour. Now that we covered everything inside the house and the Witch's Corner is finally all tightened up, we know what that means. Now we're going to head back here to the outhouse area and see their restroom dwellings. All right, so right there is the household. Here's the pathway that you will walk when you exit the back side of the home. Then we're going to come right out here. Wow, this is very, very, once again, you have to duck. So you see my head right there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to totally duck to walk beneath that. That is for sure. And make our way back here toward the bathroom facilities from the late 1800s. And I'm talking, he went all brick with the bathroom area. Hey, look at that. It's got the same kind of window in the peak as the home does. Kind of look in here. Make sure there's no snakes, copperheads, things like that. Right there's where you would plop down your booty, right there. Do your business. Kind of cool. Check that out. Pretty awesome. All right. Nice little tour. All right, that will pretty much conclude my vlog today here at the Kerner Folly home, the world's strangest home, self-proclaimed by them. And I gotta say, I was blown away by this house today. What an odd place. I mean, facility, whatever you want to call it. This place was wild. Just walking down the steps, the rooms, the different sizes of everything, the ceilings, all the fireplaces throughout the home. Very strange. And something else I think is really cool when I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking about it. The peak up there at the top, that triangular window up there in that peak. Yeah, man, that's the theater room. I know that now, so that's pretty cool. Really awesome. And you got to think, that's where, supposedly in, I think 2008 or 2009, there was an apparition that was actually seen in that room. You know, like kind of bending over a chair or something or other. But all in all, really cool place to come check it out. If you're here in the area and you do want to go and buy a ticket, this right here behind me is the John and Bobby Wolf Visitor Center. And this is where you will buy your ticket to go walk through the home. Self-guided tour. They do have a young lady downstairs that give you a lot of the backstory and history. You can also watch a video before you walk over here to the home. We just went for it, man. I like getting it from somebody, and that's what we did today. And I've done a little research before I got here. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you've ever been here to the house before, definitely put some comments down below of what you thought about it when you was here on your visit. And if this is the first time ever hearing about it, put that in the comments, like, hey, this is new to me. I really appreciate it, you know, or whatever, you know. But I love finding things like this to put here on the channel for you guys, where y'all can watch it and have some fun with it. And maybe y'all can come up here and give it a walk through yourself and experience the Kerner Folly house. It really is a lot of fun, really cool. All right, as usual, if you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed today's content, as always, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me out so much. That's all I ask. If you enjoyed the video, please take a moment just to hit the thumbs up button. I would love for more videos to get over 100 likes. That would really be awesome for the channel. Really be cool. So until next time, friends, I'm the Hitchhiking Yeti. I hope everybody stays safe out there as always, and I will see you on my next venture. Thank you so much today for watching, and I hope to see you guys all again very soon. I upload on Fridays and Mondays, sometime on Wednesdays, depending on my work schedule. Just how the wind blows sometime, me getting out to get a third video a weekend, but trying to get better at that. All right, let's head on back down the road. Let's get after it. This was a good day, Tater. Good day.